Tonight's pitcher, Matt Marenghi, has, if you look at his earned run average, you'd say he's probably having a rough year, but he's really not having a bad year. The only problem, the thing that's hurting him the most is the gopher ball. If he cut his home runs allowed in half, he'd probably have a pretty decent ERA.
Matt's throwing the ball good. You take all of his ERA probably came in his first couple starts. His last 4 starts, he's been solid for us. He's gone 6 innings or better and kept us in every ball game. And I think his confidence is there, and he's starting to get a little better location and command of his pitches, and that's what he has to do. He's got 5 pitches, and we're trying to cut him back to where he's not really trying to throw that many. It's tough to have command of 5 pitches, but he's been solid his last 4 times out, and hopefully he'll continue that.
Okay, Mike, thanks again for your thoughts on the Manager's Corner. We'll have more pregame activity with Jeff Walker right after these brief messages.
Time to take to the road. Beckley's Camping Center offers over 20 brands of motorhomes and travel trailers featuring Coleman folding trailers by Fleetwood. Beckley's has 13 Coleman models to choose from, so you can enjoy the beauty of the great outdoors with a trailer that's right for you. Coleman's sturdy, lightweight construction allows for easy setup, giving you more time to relax with family and friends. Get a head start on your vacation. Visit Beckley's Camping Center, your full-service RV dealer, Route 15, 12 miles north of Frederick.
Have you noticed that your children seem to be more interested in the news lately? Perhaps it's because their class is one of 174 classes in Frederick County who are receiving free copies of the Frederick News Post this year. Through our newspaper and education program, these children are learning about current issues and are developing a lifetime reading habit. Take time at home and encourage your children by reading the newspaper with them. It's a great way to discover the world together, and you'll always find something to talk about in the Frederick News Post.
The Frederick Keys are coming off a 4-2 win over Prince William on Saturday. Rocky Coppinger got the victory for the Keys. He's now 5-1, his victory total leading the Carolina League. There's Harry Barrios, who just arrived within the last hour and a half to the ballpark. As you look into the dugout of the Salem Avalanche, the Avalanche has won 7 of their last 10. They're from Salem, Virginia, and they're in their first year of affiliation with the Colorado Rockies of Major League Baseball. The previous 8 years, the Salem franchise had been affiliated with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And during the club's 28 years in the Carolina League, they've also been affiliated with the San Diego Padres and the Texas Rangers. There's a look at Mike O'Barry and the manager of the Salem team, Bill Hayes, in his 2nd year with the Rockies organization. Last year he managed the Central Valley Rockies. He's in his 7th season of managing in the minor leagues. Played briefly in the major leagues with the Chicago Cubs in 1980 and 1981, and he, like manager O'Barry, is a former major league catcher. Salem scored 25 runs in 3 games over the weekend. They now lead the Carolina League in runs scored with 200. And let's take a look at their starting lineup. They'll be facing right-handed pitcher Matt Marenghi. Leading off will be shortstop Chris Sexton. Batting in the number 2 spot, second baseman Vicente Garcia. Batting third, playing left field, is Brian Culp. Batting fourth at first base is Colin Dixon. In the number 5 spot is third baseman Forey Wells. Batting sixth, the center fielder, Edgar Velasquez. Batting 7th, playing in right field, is Mark Wells. Batting in the number 8 position is the catcher, Randy Snyder. And batting 9th, the designated hitter, Keith Grunwald. A look at the Beckley's Camping Center starting lineup for the visiting Salem Avalanche. And on the mound for the Avalanche is Scott LaRock. Paul Merrill, LaRock, as you see him in the bullpen, making his first start of the season after 14 appearances out of the bullpen.
That's right, and he had some success in 2 outings against Frederick as a reliever. We'll see how he fares as a starter. In fact, both pitchers tonight are classified as control pitchers. They have good stuff, but their secret to their success is good control. And the Keys are beginning to take the field now, and I think Matt Marenghi is going to have his hands full with the Salem Avalanche lineup. You talked about their ability to score runs. They're a good hitting club.
The second leading hitting team as far as team batting average is concerned. 266 on the year for the Salem Avalanche. As I said, they lead the league in runs scored. Right now, we're going to send you down to the field for our national anthem by Crosstown Connection.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hail at the twilight stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Crosstown connection with our national anthem this evening as the Keys get set to take on the Salem Avalanche. And Paul, Saturday, the last game the Keys played, they put together all facets of the game. That was something we talked about in our post-game show Friday night. They had solid defense. As you look at Clayton Byrne, a couple of home runs, good starting and relief pitching. Put it all together.
Yeah, they played a real fine ball game, and I think they're coming on a little bit here. They still got a ways to go, but Jeff, I think if you measure the first half of the number of games they've played thus far with the last half, I think you'll see that they're making some strides. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they've picked up some veteran ball players to mix in with the youngsters. And let's take a look at some of these youngsters and veterans. The defense behind Matt Marenghi will look like this. In the left field, it'll be Sean Hugo. The center fielder we just saw a moment ago is Clayton Byrne. The right fielder tonight, Trovan Valdez, with a great throwing arm, 7 assists on the season. The first baseman is Chris Kurgan. Playing at second base tonight, Jesse Garcia. We'll see if he tries to muscle up again tonight. David Lamb is the shortstop. His cohort over at third is Tommy Davis. Doing the catching tonight, Jim Foster, the leading hitter in the first 2 weeks of May. And on the mound, once again, Matt Marenghi, who comes on here with a 2-win, 5-loss record, a 5.97 ERA. And once again, if you heard Manager O'Berry in our Manager's Corner segment, he's pitching better than that earned run average would indicate. His biggest problem, Jeff, is the gopher ball. The too many home runs. He leads the Carolina League in home runs allowed with 7. And this Salem ball club knows how to take it out of the yard as they lead the Carolina League in home runs as a team. So Matt Marenghi will be on the hill. He's 6'2", 185 pounds. He's a right-hander, as you can see. He's 22 years old. This is his second year of professional baseball. There you see his numbers. He hails from Las Vegas, Nevada. Matt Marenghi doing the hurling here tonight for the Keys.
Marenghi pitched against the Salem team on April the 28th, pitched 4 2/3 innings and took the loss in that game, gave up 2 home runs. As Paul stated, he's given up 7 on the year, which is second in the Carolina League. Gave up home runs to 2 batters in that game as the Salem team defeated Frederick 11-3. Chris Sexton to the plate for the Salem Avalanche as we're ready for action here at Grove Stadium, the Keys and the Avalanche. First pitch, good hard stuff from Marenghi for a strike.
Well, that's what Marenghi's got to do. He's got to throw strikes. He's very capable of throwing strikes. In fact, last year down at Bluefield, he put 15 walks and 65 2/3 innings pitched. So that's a testament to his ability to throw the ball over the dish. Next pitch is in there for a strike.
0-2 from Marenghi to Sexton. Sexton third in the Carolina League in hitting with a .330 batting average. Leads the league with a .500 on-base percentage. Also first in runs scored with 28.
Well, the key statistic I think you gave there, Jeff, is his on-base percentage. This guy, Chris Sexton, is getting on base every other at bat, which is just incredible. And you know, that has an awful lot to do with the Salem Avalanche's success.
Sexton recently acquired from the Cincinnati Reds organization for Marcus Moore. That deal took place on April the 10th after the Carolina League had already started.
Yeah, he opened the season as that curveball's left high. He opened the season in a Winston-Salem Warthog uniform, and a week later he's putting on the purple and whatever gray, I guess, of the Rockies uniform of the Salem franchise. So, and he's from Cincinnati, which is of course is the Winston-Salem franchise.
Grounded to short. David Lamb up with it. The throw to Kurgan at first and 1 away. Matt Marenghi gets the first batter, a tough hitter in Chris Sexton. And Vicente Garcia will come to the plate. Had a big game last night with 2 home runs.
You see on your screen there the sunglasses that David Lamb is playing at this time of the night, this time of the year. It's very, very difficult on the infielders. The shadow is like almost out towards second base, and the 3 infielders at short, second, and first are all in sunlight, and the pitcher and the catcher and the hitter are all, there you see it right there, good example of it. They're in the shade, so it's very difficult for the fielders at this time of the day.
Garcia, another good hitter on this squad, batting .308. That ranks 8th in the league. Had a hot streak from April 25th through May 6th, where he hit .371. The 1-0 pitch, grounded to the left side and past Tommy Davis into left field. So Garcia's aboard. He'll stay at first base. And a base hit is the call by the official scorer, Brian Hissey. So 1 hit on the board for the Avalanche.
That ball took a little bit of a bad hop down there. Take another look at it here. This kid is only 20 years old, and he's one of the top prospects in the Rockies organization. There you see the ball coming up a little bit and on into left field for a base hit.
Brian Culp, the number 3 hitter, and the left fielder. Garcia's at first with 1 out in the first inning. Matt Marenghi on the mound for the Frederick Keys. Marenghi comes into the game with a 2-5 record. First pitch is high for a ball. Brian Culp is batting .310. He's 7th in the league, so Salem with 3 of the top 10 hitters in the Carolina League. 25 runs batted in for Culp, ranks 2nd in the league. He's tied in that spot. He's 4th in slugging percentage with .549. Throw back to first by Marenghi, and Garcia is back safely. Culp has also scored 24 runs, which is tied for 2nd in the league.
No question about this team's ability to put on an offensive display, and of course it'll be a big test for the Keys pitchers here tonight to hold them at bay.
1-0 is the count as you look at the runner Garcia off of first. And Marenghi throws back that way again. Garcia has 2 steals in 2 attempts in 1995.
You mentioned the Avalanche having scored 200 runs thus far this year, which leads Carolina. They also lead in total number of hits with 329. We mentioned they also lead in home runs with 45. And they also lead in walks drawn with 153.
Hit to the right side. Kurgan snags it and touches the bag for the double play. So Matt Marenghi with a good first inning. He gave up 1 base hit, but the double play line drive hit by Brian Culp to Chris Kurgan ends the Salem half of the first inning. The Keys are coming up. So Frederick off to a good start, trying to make it 2 in a row. A 2-game winning streak is what they're seeking. They've lost 6 of their last 10, have the Keys, and have a 12-24 record on the year.
And on the other side of the coin, the Salem Ball Club is on fire. They've won 7 out of the last 10. So let's take a look at the lineups. Go ahead, Jeff.
Here's the Beckley's Camping Center starting lineup for the Keys. Leading off and playing right field is Trovin Valdez. Batting second at short is David Lamb. Batting number 3 is third baseman Tommy Davis. Sean Hugo bats 4th, and he's playing in left field. The new guy for the Keys, Harry Barrios, is batting 5th. Batting in the number 6 spot is Clayton Byrne, the center fielder. Batting 7th and catching is Jim Foster. Batting 8th is Chris Kurgan, who just made that great catch and got the double play. And batting 9th is Jesse Garcia, the hero from Saturday's game. Jesse playing at shortstop. On the mound for the Keys, of course, is Matt Marenghi. And on the mound for the Salem team is Scott LaRock, making his first start of the 1995 season. And LaRock started 10 games last year in 20 games that he pitched in. So he can start, can relieve. And he's on the hill as a starter tonight. Got a victory in 2 appearances against Frederick in that series at the end of April. Here's the defense.
Okay, in the left field, it'll be Brian Culp. The center fielder is Edgar Velasquez. It's right fielder, it's Mark Wells. The first baseman is Colin Dixon. Over at second base, Vicente Garcia. The shortstop coming over from the Hogs, Chris Sexton. At third base, it'll be Forey Wells. No relation to Mark, from what I understand. The catcher is 28-year-old Randy Snyder, and here's the first pitch to the leadoff hitter, Trovin Valdez, who bluffs a bunt and takes ball 1. We mentioned Snyder there. He was going to be a replacement player for the Rockies, and they were impressed enough with him to keep him in the organization and give him a shot. I think he started out at AA ball, has since joined this ball club, and He's been around the game. 28 years old is Randy Snyder, the catcher.
Valdez batting .286 on the year with 7 runs knocked in. Takes a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to Trovan. David Lamb is on deck, and he'll be followed by Tommy Davis. That evens the count at 2-2.
LaRock throws a fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup, and once again his forte is his control. Thus far in the year, he struck out 36 batters in only 26 and 2/3 innings pitched, and during that time has only walked about 8 batters, so he can throw strikes as Marenghi can.
Valdez hits it on the ground to Garcia, the second baseman. He throws to Colin Dixon for the first out. And LaRock, as I said, made 2 appearances against Frederick in the April 28th to 30th series in Salem. He pitched 6 innings, allowed just 4 base hits and 1 earned run. Didn't walk anybody and struck out 5, and got a victory in the Sunday, April 30th contest. David Lamb to the plate, hitless in his last 8 at-bats. All of those at-bats taking place in the Prince William series. Lamb's average down to .240, and he's knocked in 13 runs. Switch hitter is David Lamb. And he takes a strike. 1 out in the bottom of the first, no score. The Keys and the Avalanche.
This is LaRock's 3rd appearance. I don't know if you mentioned that or not, against the Keys, both of course in relief, and he's done quite well. 1.5 over on average. He has a victory.
And Lamb is now down 0-2.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you throw a changeup, you want to keep it on the outside portion of the plate, and that's exactly what Scott LaRock did right there. If you throw a changeup on the inside portion of the plate, the hitter might be fooled, but he can catch up with the inside pitch a lot easier than he can the outside pitch. And so for you guys out there developing changeups, you want to keep that ball down the middle to the outside.
And Lamb lines it to the right side, past the second baseman Garcia, and into right field for a base hit. So the Keys have their first base runner, and Lamb breaks out of an 0-for-8 slump. And that'll bring up the power-hitting Tommy Davis. Tommy, one of the league leaders in several categories as you look at the replay.
Pitch was up and in a little bit, and Davis shows a little bit of quickness fighting that pitch off. I know in our last broadcast we talked a lot about how teams are trying to get him out inside, especially with breaking pitches inside, but he was able to handle that one.
Davis had 2 home runs in the series against Prince William. 1 in Friday night's game, his 6th of the year, and then had his 7th Saturday night. Both solo home runs. Davis batting .354 as the throw goes back to first. That's tops in the league at .354 average. He's 2nd in home runs with 7, leads the league in hits with 51, and extra base hits with 18. So Tommy Davis having a very good year offensively for Frederick.
Well, in all of minor league baseball, not just the Oriole minor leagues, but in all of minor league baseball, Tommy Davis is 2nd in base hits. So that's quite a tribute to this man's ability to hit. That's a lot of people he's up against, and he's 2nd in all the minor leagues.
Throw back to first. Lamb back safely. Lamb singled to right with 1 out. Tommy Davis at the plate. On deck is Sean Hugo. Two balls and no strikes now to Tommy Davis. Davis hit 43 home runs in his college career at Southern Mississippi. 2nd-round draft pick of the Orioles last June. The O's did not have a 1st-round draft pick, so Davis was the top pick of the organization.
Well, one of the reasons for his success, Jeff, is he doesn't try to pull everything like a lot of hitters do growing up in high school and in college. He just hits the ball where it's pitched. He's got tremendous ability to hit the ball to all fields.
3-0 now to Davis.
There are not too many hitters who are pull hitters and are consistent 300 hitters. Now, there is exceptions to that. Of course, the first one that comes to mind would be Ted Williams. But he's an exception to everything. That guy was awesome.
And Lamb back safely once again. 1 out with a runner at first base. No score. We're playing in the bottom of the first. And Davis takes a ball 4, so 4 straight pitches by LaRock puts Tommy Davis aboard. Not messing around with Tommy, knowing the power he has. So 2 base runners now for the Keys for Sean Hugo, a left-handed batter. So LaRock in a little bit of trouble here in the early going.
Sean holds the 2nd longest hitting streak in the Carolina League this year. When he hit in 11 straight games, the longest hitting streak is 12 by Winston-Salem's Danny Clyburn.
Hugo batting .300 with 3 home runs. 2nd on the team in homers. Has 9 runs batted in. Hugo started the year at Bowie. Where he was used sparingly. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Sean Hugo. Good evening for baseball. Nice weather conditions. Temperature at game time was 71 degrees. That's an aberration of what we've had so far this year. A swing and a miss makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hugo.
And he's had him out in front 2 pitches in a row. Look like changeups. I doubt if he'll throw a 3rd in a row. You don't see that too often. Might try to waste a fastball here and then come back with another changeup.
Harry Berrios on deck. Swing and a miss. Hugo goes down. So 2 outs in the bottom of the 1st. And Harry Berrios, the designated hitter, comes to the plate for his first appearance as a Frederick Key in 1995. Berrios played 30 games at Bowie, batted just .186, had 2 home runs and 11 runs batted in. His highest average in 1995 was .265, which he had on April the 19th before going on an 0 for 15 slump. Harry Berrios, the Orioles minor league organization player of the year last year.
And he was also in the running for the all of minor league player of the year, and he got some votes, but I think what hurt him is the fact that he split the season in 2 different places. But we're happy to see him here. I'm sure he's not happy to be here, but it's a chance for him to work out whatever problems he has offensively.
1 ball and 1 strike now to Berrios. Last year led the Orioles minor leaguers in 4 categories, a .343 batting average, knocked in 107 runs, most RBIs by an Orioles farmhand since 1987. Swing and a miss by Berrios, 1 and 2. He also led Orioles minor leaguers with 113 runs scored and a .429 on base percentage. As you look at Scott LaRock, who's throwing to Harry Berrios, and ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs in the 1st, 2 runners aboard. David Lamb at 2nd, Tommy Davis at 1st. Swing and a miss, and Berrios goes down. So LaRock gets out of trouble. He had 2 runners on base with just 1 out, but strikes out Sean Hugo and Harry Berrios to end the inning. We've completed 1 here at Grove Stadium. No score between the Avalanche and the Keys.
Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to preserve the clean taste of the Rockies.
Summer has not yet arrived, but Hollywood's biggest hits are heating up this month on pay-per-view. American ethics and the phenomenal power of television come under examination in the drama Quiz Show.
Constantly amazed at the facts these guys have at their fingertips.
Also, it's a tale of hope and survival. Nominated for 7 Academy Awards, The Shawshank Redemption.
I hate him.
You're nuts about me! And don't miss a love story written in the stars. Marissa Tomei and Robert Downey Jr. star in the romantic comedy Only You. Stay home. Pay-per-view delivers.
Matt Marenghi on the hill for the Frederick Keys. He'll face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Colin Dixon, Forey Wells, and Edgar Velasquez as we head to the top of the 2nd inning. The Avalanche playing the Frederick Keys at Harry Grove Stadium. I'm Jeff Walker along with Paul Merrill. bringing you all the action on Frederick Cable Channel 10. Here's Colin Dixon, the first baseman and cleanup hitter, having a very good year, batting .364, a homer and 12 RBI. Dixon has appeared in just 14 games, and he's hit safely in 13 of those games. Just about 2 weeks ago, he was sent down from Double-A New Haven. He's not listed in the league leaders because he doesn't have enough plate appearances. Rounds it to third. Tommy Davis up with it. The throw to Kurgan, and one out in the top of the second. That'll bring up Forey Wells, the third baseman. Wells batting .281 on the year.
Forey is F-O-R-R-Y. There it is. Unusual name.
Takes the pitch inside for a ball. Matt Marenghi, last pitch on the 9th of May against Kinston. Pitched 5 innings, allowed 4 earned runs. Gave up just 3 hits in that game and walked 2. He took the loss as the Keys lost to Kinston 12-4. Kinston had a 9-run inning in that game. And a strike called on the outside part of the plate makes it 2-1. Marenghi gave up the first 2 of those 9 runs in the 6th inning. Gave Kinston a 4-3 lead. Then the bullpen took over and gave up 7 runs. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Forey Wells with 1 out in the top of the second. No score. 1 hit on the board for each team. This is the first of a 4-game series. Ball 4. And the second base runner is aboard for the Salem Avalanche. First walk by Marenghi. Edgard Velasquez, the center fielder, to the plate.
You know, Jeff, I just realizing that Nate Holden isn't in the lineup tonight. And have you heard anything about that? Why he's not in the lineup? And this is the Carolina League Player of the Week.
Just having the night off tonight.
Is that right? Lucky for us.
Holden's a big guy. Weighs about 250 pounds. 6'4". Here's a fly ball to center field. Clayton Burns shading the sun away with his glove and makes the catch. And retreating back to first base goes Forey Wells.
Number 12, Mark Wells.
Yeah, Holden was just named, in fact, today I believe it was, the Carolina League Player of the Week, where he was 8 for 17, and that's good for .471 batting average with a homer and 5 RBIs, and his on-base percentage was .571. So we're glad he's taking the night off tonight.
He even had 2 stolen bases. Pretty good for a big guy.
I'll say.
Mark Wells, the right fielder, is the number 7 hitter in the Avalanche lineup. Batting just .209, but has 7 home runs. That ties Tommy Davis for second in the Carolina League. And he takes a strike, 0-1.
Well, this Salem ball club is not a real, they don't have real good team speed. You don't look for them to steal a lot of bases. They're a big club, and they have some powerful hitters. Now, despite the fact that they lead, you got to understand they do lead the Carolina League in home runs, but they play in a real small ballpark down there, which helps. But they do have some legitimate home run hitters on this club. Holden, of course, is one of them, and this batter right here is another, Mark Wells.
I mentioned in the pregame they had 6 home runs against the Keys in the series at
yeah.
Salem. The Keys had 2, and they've only hit about, what, 15 or so.
Yeah, they feasted on Keys pitching down at their place as that pitch is in for a strike. The team batting average against Frederick in that series was, it was like, let's see, where's it, 315 is what it was. So they did quite well against the Keys. Now we're back at Harry Grove. Maybe it'll be a different story.
0-2 is the count to Mark Wells. A runner at first. And strike 3 is called. So Marenghi gets his first strikeout of the game and puts out the Salem Avalanche in the second after an inning and a half. It's 0-0 between the Keys and Avalanche.
For the best in used car selection, come to Tate Chrysler Plymouth and choose from a large selection of used cars starting under $3,000. And Tate's service department provides courteous and professional service with a state-of-the-art body and paint shop and award-winning mechanical service to get the job done right. Tate is the place for all your service needs. Stop by Tate Chrysler Plymouth today.
Nobody has what Tate has, no sir. Nobody has what Tate has.
In the market for a new home? Thinking about selling yours? Tune in to Cable Marketplace now on Channel 30. From starters to estates, you can view the area's finest homes and properties 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Each property shows over 80 times a week, and new ones are being added daily. See this exciting showcase of homes and get to know the real estate professionals who bring them to you. Cable Marketplace, Channel 30, now featuring Remodelers Showcase.
A look at the Salem dugout. Scott LaRock on the mound for the Salem Avalanche. Allowed 2 base runners in the first inning, but got Sean Hugo and Harry Berrios, the number 4 and 5 hitters in the Keys lineup, to end the inning and get out of trouble without allowing a run. He'll face Clayton Byrne, Jim Foster, and Chris Kurgan as we head to the bottom of the second inning.
Number 38, Clayton Byrne.
Clayton Byrne, the center fielder, steps up to the plate. Clayton, a native of Australia, started the 1995 season at Bowie. Batted just .218 for the Bay Sox. Hitting just .203 for the Frederick Keys. But has provided some veteran leadership. Hits it to the third base side. Wells makes the throw to Dixon. And one quick out in the bottom of the second inning. Jim Foster, the catcher, is the batter. Paul, with the addition of Harry Berrios, adds another veteran to this Keys team, a player who played with the team last year, but also Harry Berrios knows how to win, and that should help out the Keys.
Well, that's another good point. You're absolutely right. He does a lot of things well, and he's been around winning ball clubs, and hopefully some of that will rub off on the youngsters. One of whom is stepping in right here, Jim Foster, who, as I said earlier, from May 1st to May 11th was the leading hitter in the Carolina League at a .481 clip. He's cooled off a little bit since then, but still he's swinging a much better bat than he was earlier this year as that ball's fouled off to the right side.
0-1 is the count to Foster. The average has gone up considerably. .257 Foster's batting now. He has 9 runs batted in.
And the player who was second during that time span right behind him was Brian Culp on the Salem Ball Club. He hit 3 home runs during that span.
Swing and a miss makes it 0-2. Foster had just 1 hit in 7 at-bats in the Prince William series over the weekend. He was 0 for 3 in the last Keys game, which was played Saturday. A 4-2 victory over Prince William, a very exciting game as Rocky Coppinger got the win. Tommy Davis hit a home run, and Jesse Garcia provided the winning runs with a 3-run homer in the second inning, his first professional home run. Jim Foster now behind in the count 1-2 with Chris Kurgan, the left-handed swinger, on deck. 1 out in the bottom of the second inning, no score. This is low and inside, evens the count at 2-2. Jim Foster has had the advantage of having 3 catchers manage him in the last 3 years. Andy Echebarren, Butch Weiniger, and now Mike O'Barry. That pitch is outside. The count is now full. Grounded up the middle, and a base hit for Jim Foster. So the Keys have their second hit on the board, and Foster is a base runner with 1 out. And the left-handed batting Chris Kurgan coming to the plate.
Here's another look at it. He just drills this ball right back up the middle and almost takes the leg off of Scott LaRock. You can see how disgusted he is right there. He had to come right down the middle with the pitch, and oftentimes when the pitcher has to do that, the result is a base hit, as we just saw.
Throw back to first, and back safely is Foster. Kurgan is batting just above 200. Third on the Keys with 2 home runs. And has knocked in 18. And a good stop there by the catcher.
Well, right now, Chris's biggest problem is he's striking out too much. He's not making enough contact. Obviously, the more contact you make, every now and then you're going to get a ball to fall in. So he just needs to see the ball a little bit better, put the ball in play, and then work his way out of it. I mean, you're a first baseman and you're hitting 8th in the lineup. That pitch is fouled out. That doesn't bode well. First basemen are the guys you're looking to for some production, and they got to be up around 3, 4, 5, 6. And but until Chris can get things worked out, he's going to have to bat down the batting order. And I'm sure that's a move that Michael Berry likes to do because it gives him some better pitches to hit and he can work his way out.
1-1 is the count. A swing and a miss makes it 1-2.
And there's a prime example, Jeff, right there. I mean, this ball is way out of the strike zone, and he went fishing for it. And it's just a matter of Chris being able to learn the strike zone, recognize the different pitches coming his way. And of course, all that's easy for us announcers to say. But it's not easy being a hitter, I'll tell you what, especially in the professional level.
Kurgan has struck out 31 times in 120 at-bats. So about 1 time every 4 times he comes to the plate, and he takes that one outside. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Chris Kurgan, with Jim Foster at first and 1 out in the bottom of the 2nd. No score yet as you take a look at Foster standing on first base, and the first baseman Colin Dixon is holding. Fouled off.
You saw Snyder, the catcher, tap the ground low and outside just before giving the target. A lot of times you wonder, the catchers don't set up exactly where they want it right away. They'll shift around back there, and the reason for that is sometimes coaches and base runners will signal into the hitter where the location of the pitch is going to be. So you'll see him set up inside and then move outside and vice versa. You see Snyder looking into the dugout in case they want to call a certain pitch.
Back to first again. The Rock paying a lot of attention to the base runner Jim Foster.
Not sure I know why, but
Foster does have 2 steals in 2 attempts this year.
Sneaky fast.
Not normally a base stealing threat. And a swing and a miss by Kurgan. Down to second goes Foster. The throw from Snyder. And they got him. A double play ends the inning. So Chris Kurgan strikes out, and Jim Foster is cut down trying to steal. So the Keys are gone in the bottom of the 2nd. After 2 complete at Harry Grove Stadium, we're still scoreless.
Frederick Keys baseball at Grove Stadium is fun for everyone. The Frederick Keys will be in action May 15th through the 18th. May 17th, see Aero 94.7's Mike Kelly and the Rock Rolls Royce. May 18th is another spectacular post-game fireworks show with the 6:30 game time. Get ready for racing weekend May 26th through the 28th at the Grove, when you can test your skills on a real race car simulator. For Keys tickets and information, call 662-0088. Don't miss it.
Oh my goodness!
Time to Chris Kurgan.
Oh my goodness!
We want you to get on board. We don't want you sitting on the dock of the bay when the ship is out to sea howling bon voyage. Get on board. We want you now.
Salem Avalanche, the opponent of the Frederick Keys tonight. And they got out of the 2nd inning getting a double play on a strikeout by Chris Kurgan. And Jim Foster was headed down to second base and was thrown out, but it was a very close play. We'll look at it again. It appears that Foster may have missed the tag.
Yeah, take a look at this and see if you don't think he slips in there safely. Watch where the tag is. Yeah, I don't think he hits him on the first attempt. He hits him on the second attempt. By then it was too late.
Looked like he didn't even get him till he was on the bag.
Yeah.
Tried to make the sweeping tag on the thigh, but didn't make it, it appeared.
Well, a lot of times umpires call people out on principle. You know, if the ball's there in time, that's good enough. And not necessarily the right call, but that's the way it oftentimes is.
Randy Snyder is the first batter against Matt Marenghi, who's had 2 pretty good innings, allowed just 1 base hit and a walk, and has 1 strikeout. Snyder batting .344 on the year with 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in.
You mentioned how he was going to be a replacement player for the Rockies. This is not his first stint in professional ball. He's played professional ball before, and from what I understand, he's made it as high as AAA. Right now, I guess he's just happy to be playing baseball.
One ball and 1 strike to Snyder. Again, Foster loses control of the ball, but nobody on base. So it doesn't matter, and Marenghi gets a new baseball.
Snyder was drafted in June and back in 1988. This is his 7th year of professional baseball. He's 28 years old, born back in March of '67.
Guess you would call him a veteran catcher.
Without a doubt. He's Crash Davis.
And a strike 2 called. 2 balls and 2 strikes now from Marenghi. Snyder attended Washington State University.
Same school as John Oldwood. No, Oldwood was at Washington or Washington State?
Washington, I believe.
Yeah.
Pulled the bat back. 3-2. The count is now full. Snyder's hometown is Kent, Washington. Did not play last year. As part of the High Desert Mavericks in 1993. That's one of the Orioles affiliates this year for the first time. Added .294 that year at High Desert. And also played for Edmonton in 1993, hitting .266. Not a lot of power. Grounds it to second. Jesse Garcia handles it and throws to Kurgan. So 1 out in the top of the 3rd. Keith Grunwald is the batter. Grunwald the DH this evening, hitting .245. No home runs, 6 runs batted in 1995. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 11 games. 10 for 35 during that stretch. .286 average. And Marenghi gets a strike. Marenghi has improved since the beginning of the year, as manager O'Barry talked about in the pregame show with Paul. His first 2 outings were rather rough, but 4 of his last 5 starts, he's pitched at least 5 innings.
Now, like we said, he's just got to keep the ball in the park. He'd be all right. He's actually given up less hits than innings pitched, which is tremendous. So why does he have a 5.67 ERA? It's because they're hitting the ball out of the yard every now and then. In fact, 7 times off this young man. And that's why the ERA is so high, despite the fact that he's given up fewer hits than innings pitched. Good curveball right there. Gets Keith Grunwald. I guess we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about, for you Rockies fans out there, the #1 draft pick of the Rockies last year was a high school kid pitcher, a left-hand pitcher out of Sarasota, Florida, by the name of Doug Million, who's on his ball club, but right now he's on a disabled list. Doesn't get the inside call this time. And, I was really excited when the Rockies were coming to town, Jeff, because I wanted to see Doug Million pitch. His kid's 1 year out of high school. He signed for $905,000. Not bad for a high school player.
Almost made $1 million right off the bat.
You bet. And but unfortunately, he's working out a muscle strain in his shoulder. Curveball left high, and will not pitch in this series. So we'll have to catch him the next time around.
Million expected to be back maybe sometime next week.
All right. He is throwing a little bit on the side, but not much.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Keith Grunwald. And he fouls it back, so the count will remain full. 1 out in the top of the third. No score as of yet. Keys have 2 hits on the board, and the Avalanche with 1. Swing and a miss. So Marenghi gets his second strikeout, and it's the second out of the inning. And back to the top of the order with Chris Sexton. Sexton grounded to short to begin the ball game. One of the top hitters in the Carolina League is Chris Sexton. He's hit safely in 10 of 11 games. Has a very good eye. Has walked 25 times in the last 16 games.
Well, his ability to get on base is one of the best in all of minor league baseball. And I started to mention in his first at bat how he grew up in the Cincinnati area, and when the Reds drafted him, of course, he was absolutely elated. And even went to college in Ohio, at Miami of Ohio, where he was a center fielder, by the way. Then when he drafted him as a pro, they stuck him on second base. He lasted there about a week. They moved him over to the shortstop. So it's very unusual to see somebody who was an outfield in college to get converted to an infield. Oftentimes you'll see the reverse true, such as Michael Tucker, who played second base in college but now has been converted to the outfield.
That's a strike. It's now 2-1 to Sexton.
Michael Tucker, the highly regarded youngster in the Kansas City Royals organization, who came through here a couple of years ago for Wilmington.
That one just misses, so it's now 3-1. Sexton gets on base 1 of every 2 plate appearances. Leads the Carolina League. 3-1. It's hit high to center field. Clayton Byrne going back, and Byrne makes the catch. That is the third out here in the top of the third, but a deep fly ball hit by Chris Sexton. Byrne hauls it in to end the inning. We're still scoreless in the middle of the third.
Pontiac's new Sunfire, your ticket to ride with driving excitement, is available now at Burdett Brothers Pontiac, a family-operated dealership since 1919. Burdett Brothers has a full line of 95s ready for you now, including the Bonneville, among the world's exceptional sports sedans, and the sporty but comfortable Grand Am. Located on 355 just south of Urbana, we'll help you drive excitement in a Firebird what other sports cars wish they had. A full-service dealership with an award-winning service department and body shop. Burdett Brothers Pontiac.
Yes, Dudley?
I'm starving. Can we have a snack, Mom?
Here's your snack, kids. Cheese, fruits, and I chopped up some carrot sticks.
Thanks.
What? No candy? No chewy gooey tire bars? Eating too many snacks can cause tooth decay. But if you need a snack between meals, choose nutritious foods like fruits, vegetables, or cheese.
I'm proud of these 242 teeth. That's why I'm eating nutritious food.
That's right. Eat up, kids.
Yay!
Tonight's Frederick Keys baseball telecast is a copywritten presentation of Frederick Cablevision Incorporated and is presented for the enjoyment of our viewers in Frederick County, Maryland and Jefferson County, West Virginia. Any use of this program without the written permission of Frederick Cablevision Incorporated is a violation of copyright laws and is strictly prohibited.
We're set to go to the bottom of the third inning. It'll be Jesse Garcia, Trovin Valdez, and David Lamb against Scott LaRock. Jesse Garcia, the hero from Saturday's game, hit his first professional home run down the left field line. At that point, it gave the Keys a 4-1 lead. They held on and won it 4-2 over Prince William. Jesse's mother was here from Texas, so I guess an early Mother's Day gift, since the Keys weren't even able to play on Mother's Day as their game was washed out.
Well, third baseman Forey Wells has no respect for his home run power. He's playing up for the bunt. No respect for the little guys in this game.
Jesse's batting .270 and has 15 runs batted in, which ranks third on the team.
There is the third sacker, Forey Wells. And you can see that he is indeed trying to take away the bunt.
That's a strike 2 call. 0-2 is the count to Jesse Garcia.
I'm not sure what that pitch is he's throwing right there. I don't know if that's classified as a slider or a curve, or should we call it a slurve? I mean, it's kind of a cross between the two. Looks like a fastball coming here based on his grip. You can watch from center field. Oftentimes you can pick up the type of pitch that he's going to throw by his grip when he raises the glove over his head. If you see a lot of white, then it's going to be a breaking pitch. Let's take a look. Couldn't quite tell there.
Grounded to third. Wells makes the play and throws over to Dixon at first. So one away in the bottom of the third. And Trovin Valdez, the Keys right fielder, to the plate. Valdez grounded to second in the first inning.
You can see on your picture there now the entire field is in shadows. So that'll even things up a little bit, make it a little bit easier for the defense.
Valdez squared to bunt and takes a strike one. Scott LaRocque on the mound for the Salem Avalanche. 29th round selection last June.
Oh, split finger.
And Valdez bunts off the first base side. It's a good one. Snyder, the pickup and throw is late. So Valdez has a bunt single. And the Keys have a base runner with one out.
Here it is. Here, look at the grip. It's a split finger. You can see it in his glove there. But what a bunt by Trovin Valdez. This ball is almost on his ankles. Great placement. Snyder fields the ball, but it's too late to get the speedy Valdez.
I don't think you can bunt any better than that.
Oh, no, he couldn't have rolled it in a better place.
David Lamb, the switch hitting shortstop. He singled in the first inning. Was left stranded at second base. Speedy Valdez is on at first.
Yeah, and I think they ought to try to test Snyder. He doesn't throw real well. In fact, he's only thrown out 25% of base stealing attempts, 3 of 12. And the backup catcher tonight, Higgins, a little bit better, throwing out 34%. But actually, I thought Snyder had the better of the two arms when I was watching him in their pregame.
Valdez has 11 steals in 16 attempts. First baseman Colin Dixon holding with Valdez. One out in the bottom of the third. Tommy Davis is on deck for Frederick. Throw back to first.
Well, one thing I like about Scott LaRocque is he shows a lot of different looks to the runners over there at first base. He's come from every different angle, every different spot in the set position. Keeps the runners guessing.
And a strike. 0-1 to David Lamb.
Well, David's in a situation here where he's got to be a very patient hitter. He doesn't want to go up there looking to hit first pitch. He wants to give Trovin a chance to steal a base should he desire to do so. And that's the thing about number 2 hitters in a lineup. You have to be very patient. You have to be willing to take some pitches. Ball gets away, Jeff.
Valdez will go at least to second base. Turns the corner, but then heads back. So it'll be an error to allow Valdez to go to second base. The Keys have a runner in scoring position, and the pitcher, Scott LaRocque, is charged with the error. So a break for Frederick, and a visit elicited now as the pitching coach, and that's the manager, Bill Hayes, headed out to the mound.
Let's try to read his lips. Knock, knock. Who's there? What they'd be talking about in this situation here.
Doesn't appear Hayes is very happy about that throw. And the umpire has come out to try to break up the conversation, and Bill Hayes will now head back to the dugout.
Well, they might be saying, let's pitch to David Lamb, and we got to have him. Then we'll pitch around Tommy Davis and go for the number 5 hitter or 4 hitter, Sean Hugo. Little strategy session, I think.
He's very solid now in the 3 through 6 spots with Davis, Hugo, Harry Berrios, the new addition just this evening, and Clayton Byrne. Lamb swings and misses.
Well, you can take that on down to 7, I think, with Jimmy Foster having come on here of late. So it's a pretty solid. You're right, Jeff. It's a good observation on your part that the middle of the Keys order is a lot more potent now than it was when they opened the season. That's for sure.
The bottom three hasn't done so bad lately as well. As you mentioned, Jim Foster and Jesse Garcia.
Yeah.
Chris Kurgan at times. Taken low for a ball, so it's now 1-2. Valdez at second base. Dancing around out there before LaRock threw the pitch. And the shortstop, Chris Sexton, headed over to cover the bag in case LaRock wanted to throw the ball that way. A view from the center field camera. And now a play on at second and no throw by LaRock. Roven Valdez playing in right field. He's on at second base with 1 out. Keys have 3 hits on the board. No score in the game. Valdez is running. Good pitch. The handle by the catcher, and Valdez is thrown out trying to steal. A perfect pitch for Randy Snyder, the catcher, to handle on the outside part of the plate, the third base side of the plate, and Snyder guns down Valdez. So the third inning is complete. The Keys go down. We're still scoreless as we head to the fourth.
We're putting our energy into your community. We're Frederick Gas, providing natural and propane gas service throughout Frederick County. Frederick Gas serves many older and new communities. Highly efficient gas appliances can be purchased and paid for on your monthly bill. For more information about using gas in your home, contact Frederick Gas, 662-2151. Gas is your best energy value.
The Circulation Department's commitment to service begins with our independent carriers, who are dedicated to delivering your newspaper every publishing day in a prompt and efficient manner. Our district managers and customer service representatives are also available to make sure your newspaper needs are fulfilled. From starting your newspaper subscription, taking your vacation stop, to solving your newspaper problems. Everyone at the Frederick News Post is committed to serving you. Give us a chance to deliver on this commitment. Call the number shown on the screen and subscribe today. Thank you.
So for the second straight inning, the Keys go down on a double play, a strikeout and a base runner caught stealing.
Yeah, there were 2 things, Jeff, about that last play that ended the bottom of the third inning. There's 2 things about that I did not like. One was the fact that they attempted to steal third with a left-hand hitter up there, which makes it so much easier for the catcher to throw down there because he's got a clear shot. The other thing is you got Tommy Davis on deck, the league's leading hitter, and a runner in scoring position, and now Tommy's going to have to lead the inning off without a chance to drive any runs in. So not so sure what the thinking was there, but anyway, we'll go to the fourth.
Vincente Garcia leads off the top of the fourth for the Salem Avalanche. Takes a strike. He singled in the first inning and then was erased as the next batter, Brian Culp, hit into a double play. Garcia with 2 home runs yesterday against Wilmington. Knocked in 4 runs. 2 strikes now. Culp is on deck, and Colin Dixon, the cleanup hitter, will bat third in this inning.
Hard to believe this kid is only 20 years old and he's already in his 3rd year of professional baseball. Talking about Garcia. Wheels from Maracaibo, Venezuela, take the curveball low and away.
Both second basemen in tonight's game have the last name Garcia. Jesse for the Keys and Vincente for the Salem team. And a duck out of the way of that one. 3 balls and 1 strike to Garcia, and both Garcias home runs in their team's last game.
Can I assume that Vincente is Spanish for Vincent? I don't know if I'm going out too far on a limb on that.
I don't think so. Now they've changed the count on the scoreboard. It's 2-2. This is outside, 3-2.
No, you don't want to put this guy on. They got some pretty good hitters coming up next, and Culp, Dixon, and Wells. So go get them. Go after them.
Line to short. David Lamb makes the play.
For that reason right there, Jeff, I mean, even though you give in to the hitter, he hits the ball on the nose, you still got 8 other guys out there that might catch it. So that's why you want to throw strikes in this game. Those other 8 players have gloves on. Let's take a look at David Lamb isolated. A couple steps to his right. Sinking line drive. He put out.
Brian Culp is the batter. He had a line drive his first time up, right into the glove of the first baseman Chris Kurgan, who went to the bag to erase Vicente Garcia for the double play. 1 ball now. Culp went to Kansas State University. The strike called evens it at 1-1. Culp picked in the 1993 June draft in the 43rd round.
Wow.
Played for 3 teams last year.
Wow.
And he lines it to left center and a base hit. Hugo will play the ball.
How many 43rd round draft choices are batting third in the lineup?
He did not play in 1993 because he signed too late, but last year hit 300, 341, and 417.
Jeez. Somebody missed this guy.
Nashville, Central Valley, and New Haven. So Culp is aboard. Salem hitting a lot of line drives this evening off Matt Marenghi. And only 2 base hits on the board. Colin Dixon, the first baseman. He grounded out to Tommy Davis in the 2nd inning. 1 on with 1 out. And a strike call.
I really like Collins' approach to hitting here. He stands in there nice and relaxed. The hands are in close to his body, and then he kind of rocks it back as the pitcher releases. You got to be relaxed at the plate. Your muscles are so much quicker when they're relaxed. See how relaxed he is?
Fouled away. 2 strikes is the count to Colin Dixon.
What little breeze we've had here tonight has blown straight out, but it's barely a whimper right now. Look out, that hit him. And also got Jimmy Foster a little bit. He's kind of writhing a little bit.
Mike O'Berry headed out to the field.
You can see Jim there. He's not real happy with the result of that pitch. Let's see if it doesn't go off the knob of his bat, which I think is what Mike O'Berry is going to challenge him about. Does it hit him in the arm, or does it hit him on the knob of the bat? At any rate, it gets Jim Foster. Oh. Mike O'Berry might have a gripe there. That looked to me like it hit the knob of the bat, Jeff. And the reason why I say that is it ricocheted very quickly, which I don't think it would have done if it had hit his arm or something. Jim's in a little bit of pain here. It's not an easy job, Jim.
2 base runners for Salem. Dixon's at first. He was hit by the pitch. And Brian Culp is on at second base. We'll watch it again.
Oh, you don't even see the hitter shaking his arm. You know, if that had hit the hitter, he'd be in pain. I think that ball hit the knob of the bat.
1 out in the inning. A check swing. Right back to the mound. Marenghi goes to second for 1. And on the first, but safe at first base is Forey Wells. So they get the middleman Dixon at second. Runners at the corners now with 2 outs. Culp goes to third. And Edgar Velasquez will step up to the plate.
Watch Jimmy Foster there go through some signs. You can see it on your screen. First and third defense. Always a lot of things you can do on offense, so the defense have to have some plays to counteract that, and that's what Jim Foster does. On any first and third situation, he'll step out in front of home plate and go through some signs.
Velasquez flied out to center field, his first plate appearance. Foster keeps the ball in front of him. The runner headed to the plate, and out at the plate is Brian Culp. So Jim Foster with a great play, recovered after the ball bounced in the dirt, dove to the plate and made the tag to get the 3rd out.
Well, let's take another look. This is very aggressive on Culp's part. This is a good block by Jim Foster. And it's close, let me tell you. Flip a coin on that one.
After 3.5, we're still scoreless. The Keys and the Avalanche.
It's camping season and time to visit Beckley's Camping Center, 12 miles north of Frederick, and check out our complete line of brand new Newmar motorhomes. Camp in the luxurious comfort of one of Newmar's plush RVs, complete with a slide-out room. While you're on the road, your RV is 8 feet wide, and when you set up camp, just push a button and slide out the room for an extra 3 feet of comfort and space with this latest feature in Newmar RV innovation. It's not just a motorhome anymore. Call Beckley's Camping Center today or stop by and see for yourself.
Are you getting frustrated by that dripping faucet? Then Burke it. Is your air conditioner not working as well as it should? Then Burke it. Locally owned and operated, Burke will professionally handle all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Burke Incorporated today.
The Keys and Avalanche combined for 35 runs and 59 hits in a 3-game series in Salem, Virginia in late April. But so far in game 1 of this 4-game series in Frederick, no score. 5 base hits on the board. The Keys will have the 3, 4, 5 hitters to try to get something started offensively. It'll be Tommy Davis, Sean Hugo, and Harry Barrios.
Yeah, with the 2 worst pitching staffs in the league coming into this ballgame, I was looking for some run production here, but you're right, Jeff. Nothing on the board yet. Pretty good pitchers duel going.
And Davis takes the ball 1. Tommy walked on 4 pitches in the first inning.
We talked about the Avalanche hitters leading the Carolina League in home runs. Their pitchers have given up more home runs than any other staff in the league. And a lot of that's because they play in that little bandbox down there in Salem. Next pitch is on the inside corner. Tommy gets rung up for strike 1.
We mentioned that Davis leads the Carolina League in several categories. He's also in the top 3 in about 4 others. Home runs, second with 10 doubles, second with a .583 slugging percentage. As Davis hits it to center field, Velasquez running over towards right field makes the catch. So Tommy Davis hits a long drive, but is the first out in the 4th inning. Davis also 3rd in runs scored with 24. What's happening in the Carolina League other than the game here at Grove Stadium, Paul?
Well, Kinston and Winston-Salem are knotted up 0-0 also in the 4th inning. Durham is out ahead of Prince William 2-0 in the 2nd. That's good news. And Wilmington is losing to Lynchburg 1-0. That game is in the 4th inning. That's down at Lynchburg.
Sean Hugo is the batter with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. And a strike call to Hugo. He struck out with 2 base runners aboard in the first inning. Scott LaRock did a good job in that first inning with 2 aboard, got Hugo and Barrios on strikes. Outside part of the plate.
Backdoor curveball snuck in there. They beat Sean Hugo away on his last at bat. And let's see if they continue to pitch him away.
Outside again, this time a ball. 1-1 is the count. Hugo with just 2 hits in his last 17 trips to the plate. Harry Barrios on deck. Here's a soft fly ball to left field. Left fielder makes the catch. So Brian Culp records the 2nd out of the bottom of the 4th inning. And Harry Barrios, the DH, struck out in the first inning.
Well, he got a diet of breaking pitches his last time up. That's out of respect for his what he did in this league last year. He got, I don't know if there's, I still don't know if they're sliders or curves. He's a hard read for me, but they were breaking pitches at any rate.
One ball to Harry Barrios. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. We're still scoreless. No base runners aboard for the Keys.
Harry trying to work his way out of a terrible hitting slump up at Bowie. You know, sometimes hitting slumps are more mental than they are physical.
And the 1-1 is hit very high. That's a major league pop-up. Second baseman Garcia makes the catch for the third out. So the Keys go down 1-2-3 in the fourth. After 4 complete, the score remains Frederick nothing and Salem nothing.
Frederick Keys baseball at Grove Stadium is fun for everyone. The Frederick Keys will be in action May 15th through the 18th. May 17th, see Aero 94.7's Mike Kelly and the Rock Rolls Royce. May 18th is another spectacular post-game fireworks show with the 6:30 game time. Get ready for racing weekend May 26th through the 28th at the Grove, when you can test your skills on a real race car simulator. For Keys tickets and information, call 662-0088. Don't miss it.
At the O.J. Simpson trial.
O.J. Simpson's lawyers.
The O.J. Simpson trial.
Of course.
You know, I'm really tired of the stuff that's on TV today. It's not about who I really am. But there is one channel I can always turn to, and that's Cable 10. It's about the people I know, places I've been, friends and family, the things I really care about. It's TV about my community, and it's about your community. So the next time you're tired of all that other stuff, do what I do. Turn to Cable 10.
Matt Marenghi looking for his third victory of this evening tonight. We're locked up in a pitcher's duel between Marenghi and Scott LaRock of the Salem Avalanche. In the first 4 innings, Marenghi has given up just 2 base hits and walked 1. It has 2 strikeouts. As we head to the 5th inning, it'll be Edgar Velasquez to lead it off for Salem. He was at bat when last inning ended, as Jim Foster made a nice play to tag out Brian Culp, who attempted to score on a pitch that bounced in the dirt and got away from Foster. Went to the first base side of the plate. Foster picked it up and dove to the plate and tagged out Culp for the third out. So Velasquez taking a strike on the first pitch from Marenghi. Edgar flied out to center fielder Clayton Byrne in the 2nd inning. A soft ground ball to the right side, gets past the pitcher. Kurgan makes the play, throws past Marenghi.
Well, that ball had trouble written all over it as soon as it left the bat. Had a lot of English on it. Inside out swing.
A base hit for Edgar Velasquez. Hit number 3 for Salem. And if Marenghi didn't get that one, that was going to be a lot of trouble, as Paul mentioned. Kurgan has to field it. Would have been safe even if the throw had been there. No damage as the runner has to hold at first base. And Mark Wells, the right fielder, is the batter. He struck out in the 2nd. Left-handed swinger.
Yeah, they had a lot of success pitching him up into strike zone. So when the Keys get 2 strikes on Mark, if they do get 2 strikes on Mark, let's see if they don't try to go upstairs on him again.
Marenghi back to first.
Velasquez is not a real big threat to steal over there, and in fact, he has 1 stolen base, been caught 3 times. He might have good speed, but he's yet to read pitchers real well.
Slap to the left side. Tommy Davis throws to second in time to Jesse Garcia for the force play. So they cut down Velasquez, and on safely at first base is Mark Wells on the fielder's choice.
Catcher, Randy.
That'll bring up the catcher, Randy Snyder.
Here's a prime reason why third basemen are to go try to get every ball they can get, because if he lets this ball go to David Lamb, they're not going to get this guy at second base. As you can see right there, it was pretty close. So you third baseman, any ball you can get going to your left, you should take.
Snyder grounded out to second in his only plate appearance so far tonight. 1 out with a runner at first. Chris Kurgan is holding at first base with Mark Wells. And a throw back that way. Wells has 2 steals and 2 attempts this year. Marenghi to the plate. Popped up on the right side. Kurgan giving chase. Heads over to the Keys dugout. And that went into the 2nd row. So no balls and 1 strike. Randy Snyder.
Oh, I didn't know Matt Marenghi attended Stanford. We got the pipeline coming to the Royals farm system from Stanford. Let's see, that makes him and Jeff Hammonds, Brian Sakinski, Steve Chitrin, and Todd LaRocca, all other former Stanford Cardinal baseball standouts. There we go.
A 1 pitch is high, 1-1. What about Mike Mussina?
And Mike Mussina, who went to high school not too far from here up in Montoursville, Pennsylvania he's from?
Mussina got the first complete game by an American League pitcher over the weekend. Marenghi back to first once again. Mark Wells, the base runner at first. Attended North Carolina State University. Not really a threat to steal.
ACC baseball tournament coming up next week down, I think it's in Greenville? Or Greensboro, maybe it's in Greensboro. But pretty good baseball played in the Atlantic Coast Conference. They may put as many as 4 or 5 teams in the NCAA tournament brackets coming up usually around the first week in June, around draft time. Of course, Clemson would be the best chance of winning a national title out of the ACC this year. They have a real fine ball club.
Check swing.
Did he go?
And a strike. 2-2 now to Randy Snyder. Wells is still at first base. 1 out in the top of the 5th. No score in the game. Each team with 3 base hits. Salem has committed 1 error. The Keys defense has been solid so far this evening. Swing and a miss. So Marenghi gets his 2nd strikeout of the game. 2 outs here in the 5th. And Keith Grunwald, the designated hitter, comes to the plate. Grunwald was the 2nd strikeout victim back in the 3rd inning. 3 strikeouts for Matt Marenghi in the game. Fouled back. 0-1 is the count.
You know, the Colorado Rockies have had an interesting philosophy ever since they, got into the league and have began drafting. They've put a premium on pitchers, and I think in the first 3 years they did not even draft a position players until after their first 5 draft picks, which shows you how much emphasis they're putting on pitching. And of course, they got a real good one in Doug Millian last year.
The runner goes, swing and a miss. The throw down to second. Throw there in time as they cut down Mark Wells. So Jim Foster having a good night behind the plate. That throw retires the Avalanche in the top of the 5th. We're halfway through the game. Still no score.
Pontiac's new Sunfire, your ticket to ride with driving excitement, is available now at Burdett Brothers Pontiac, a family-operated dealership since 1919. Burdett Brothers has a full line of 95s ready for you now, including the Bonneville, among the world's exceptional sports sedans, and the sporty but comfortable Grand Am. Located on 355 just south of Urbana, we'll help you drive excitement in a Firebird what other sports cars wish they had. A full-service dealership with an award-winning service department and body shop. Burdett Brothers Pontiac.
For the best in fine jewelry, come to Billy's in downtown Frederick and examine over 5 million.
Make sure your message gets across. Advertise on cable and reach the people you need to reach with the sight, sound, color, and motion of television. Call Frederick Cablevision Advertising today.
We're headed to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Clayton Byrne, Jim Foster, and Chris Kurgan for the Frederick Keys. No score so far. We have a pitcher's duel between Scott LaRocque and Matt Marenghi. First of a 4-game series between the Avalanche and the Keys. Tomorrow night it'll be Rashad Stewart against Jamie Wright. and Calvin Maduro and Keith Barnes. And then Thursday, the finale will be Jason Rogers and Mike Sate. Byrne looked like he was going to bunt on the first pitch, takes the ball. That Thursday night game begins at 6:35, a half hour earlier because it's fireworks night after the game.
Speaking of fireworks, Bowie had a fireworks promotion, well, I guess back on April 29th, something like that. And they drew something like 12,400 fans, which outdrew the Milwaukee Brewers that night.
2-0 pitch to Byrne. Lifted high to right field. And the right fielder Wells makes the catch. So 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Jim Foster to the plate. Foster singled in the 2nd inning. And was caught stealing. A questionable call at second. It appeared he slid past the tag, but was called out. That coming on a strikeout to Chris Kurgan.
You mentioned Jamie Wright throwing tomorrow night. He's the other #1 draft pick on this Salem Avalanche ball club. He was the #1 draft pick back in '93, 2 years ago. Once again, we mentioned the premium that the Rockies are putting on pitching. In the last 2 years, their #1 picks are right here with this ball club, and Doug Million, who was on the stable list, and Jamie Wright, who will be throwing tomorrow. So if you get a chance, stop by, see a #1 draft pick, one of the Rockies' premium prospects.
Rounded up the middle. The play at first.
That's a nice play.
In time, so Sexton does a good job with the bat. Looks pretty good defensively as well as he throws to Colin Dixon to retire Jim Foster. So there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. And Chris Kurgan, the first baseman, to the plate. Kurgan struck out in the 2nd. You see Foster in the Keys dugout, and here's the replay.
Well, this is a pretty good play for a guy who played outfield in college. He's actually going to field this ball right behind the bag, and which means he has to go a long way for the ball. Great play by Chris Sexton. Don't confuse him with Richie Sexton. There's a Sexton, which is the one that's here tonight, Chris, and then there's a Sexton.
Kurgan grounds it to the first baseman, Dixon. He'll go to the bag unassisted. So the Keys quickly go down 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. And it continues. Salem nothing, Frederick nothing after 5.
Nobody has what Tate has.
Tate Chrysler Plymouth has a full line of 95s, including the 1995 Motor Trend Car of the Year, the all-new Cirrus. It's not just a step above, it's a new plateau. Tate also has the 1995 Automobile Magazine Car of the Year. Say hello to the sporty neon. Stop by Tate, the minivan store, where Tate has the minivan that's right for you. There's only one choice for your next vehicle. Tate Chrysler Plymouth on Route 85, Frederick.
Watch the Keys close up on Cable 10.
A look at the Salem bullpen. They haven't been needed as of yet. No score on the board. Matt Marenghi pitching for the Keys, and Scott LaRock for the Salem Avalanche. As we head to the top of the 6th inning, it'll be Keith Grunwald, Chris Sexton, and Vicente Garcia. It's hard to believe the Salem Ball Club hasn't put any runs on the board as of yet. They lead the league in runs scored, 2nd in batting average. But Matt Marenghi has held them at bay so far in the first 5 innings.
Well, the nice thing about Mark Wells getting thrown out stealing to end the top of the 5th is it means that Keith Grunwald, their #9 hitter, is going to be leading off this inning. So that worked in favor of the Keys.
Grunwald 0 for 1, struck out in the 3rd inning. Takes a ball outside. We talked about ACC players, former ACC players. Grunwald from the University of North Carolina, selected in the 12th round of the June 1993 draft. Fouls it to the right side. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, you know, there's so much attention to ACC basketball, which, you know, without a doubt is the best in the nation, that the baseball programs often get overlooked, and the football programs, really. But baseball, year after year, there's a lot of good players that come out of the Atlantic Coast Conference.
High ball 2, 2-1 now.
And when Florida State joined the ACC, what, 2 years ago? I mean, Florida State's always nationally ranked, so that even beefed up the baseball, the good baseball play in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Line drive, Garcia makes the catch.
You're right, Jeff. The Rockies have hit a lot of line drives tonight. Of course, the joke you always yell out to your pitcher, and when that's happening, you say, hey, you got him popping up. Take a look here. He gets every bit of this ball, but it's right at Jesse Garcia.
That's the third line drive off the bats of the Salem Avalanche that have been right at a Keys defensive player. That one to Garcia. Chris Kurgan snared a line drive earlier in the game and got a double play out of it as he ran to the bag to erase the base runner. And also David Lamb handled a line drive. Chris Sexton 0 for 2 in the game. Grounded to short and flied out to center. Grounds it up the middle off the glove of Marenghi. Garcia has to hurry, and in time.
I think you can rule that one 4-3. You're right, it deflected off Marenghi's glove over to Jesse.
So 2 quick outs.
Here it is. Here, watch this ball go off Marenghi's glove and kind of direct it towards Jesse. There it is. Actually slowed the ball down a little bit, which might have made it a little bit tougher for him. As Sexton does run quite well, pretty close.
Garcia 1 for 2 in the game. He's singled and lined out to the shortstop Lamb. That one over the head of Garcia. Got away from Marenghi.
It looked like Steve Hamilton's pitch years ago. I think he called it the folly floater.
Marenghi steps off the mound. Takes a little breather before he heads back to face Garcia with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. No score as of yet. Inside, 2-0 to Garcia, and Marenghi's been ahead of most of the hitters tonight.
Yeah, I can't think of too many counts tonight where he's gone to 3 balls. He has walked 1 man, but most of the time they've either hit it or struck out within the first 4 pitches.
And there's a strike to make it 2-1.
Well, that's his game, Jeff. We talked about that. He's got to throw strikes. He's got good, decent stuff, but nothing overpowering, and so he's got to be able to hit the corners and change speeds. And he's doing that tonight.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. Garcia, the batter, just 20 years of age, from Venezuela. Last year played for Asheville and batted just .219 in 123 games. In his first year of professional ball, he played for Chandler and batted .299 in 38 games. After signing in the draft in 1993. There's a soft line drive, could be trouble. Lamb going back off his glove. But a good effort by David Lamb.
This is a tough call for the score. Now you make a good pitch on a hitter and you get in on his fist right here. Take a look. And yet he fights it off and he ends up getting on base. That can give you gray hairs right there.
A base hit is ruled.
I think I go along with that.
2 outs and a runner on. Culp is the batter. He's 1 for 2. Line to the first baseman Kurgan in the first inning. Ended up being a double play and then singled in the 4th. He tried to come home on a ball that bounced in the dirt off of Foster's chest over to the right side of the plate. Culp with an aggressive play tried to score, trying to make something happen in this scoreless game. And Jim Foster dove to the plate and got there ahead of Culp and made the tag for the out. 0-1 is the count, 2 outs. Garcia's at first base. And a strike call.
Well, I don't know what kind of speed Vicente Garcia has, but this might be a spot to start him up because they got a pretty good hitter 0-2 in Culp, and they may want to try to, you know, if he gets thrown out, that gives Culp another shot with a clean count, so it's worth a gamble.
Marenghi throws back to first. A high throw, but pulled down by Kurgan.
Perhaps Matt thinking like we are. And of course, if he steals the base, then he's in scoring position for a pretty good hitter with 1 strike left.
Culp 7th in the league in batting average coming into this game. The runner holds and a strike 3 called. Marenghi with strikeout number 4 to end the 6th inning. After 5.5, it continues. Frederick nothing and Salem nothing.
Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to preserve the clean taste of the Rockies.
The Disney Channel comes alive in '95 with exciting musical events. World television premieres.
Say hello to the first Jamaican bobsled team.
An original 4-hour miniseries.
Quilp! How did you get in?
Classic Disney animation.
Say, that's pretty swell.
And current award-winning blockbusters.
Don't wait. Order the Disney Channel today.
The Keys and Avalanche combined for 8 home runs at Salem, but no runs even scored here tonight at Harry Grove Stadium as you look at the 3-tiered fence.
Yeah, once again, we'll show you what is oftentimes confusing to fans, because when you sit in the stands, it looks like one solid fence 3 tiers high. But you saw on our shot there that the second and third tiers actually set back about 6 feet from the bottom row, and anything over that bottom row is a home run. But it often lends confusion to players, umpires, fans, and announcers.
Jesse Garcia to lead off the bottom of the 6th. Against Scott LaRock, Garcia loses the bat as he swings and misses. LaRock has retired 7 in a row.
Do you remember a player named Tony Oliva?
Minnesota Twins.
Often led the league in letting go of the bat. So it looked like Jesse was doing his best Tony Oliva imitation.
Garcia 0 for 1 in the game. He grounded out to third in the 3rd inning. He'll be followed by Trovan Valdez and David Lamb. Inside corner for strike 2. 0-2 to Jesse Garcia.
Says there's no way I can hit that pitch. It's too far inside. I think he got a call right there from the home plate umpire. See Jesse up on the hand a little bit. He's just going to try and choke and poke one right here. Just get on base.
Rounds it down the left side and foul.
And might have hit third baseman Wells right in the side of the head. The ball took a nasty hop. And I think it came up and hit him in the head. I think it caught him a glancing blow, fortunately.
Wells appears to be okay.
Hey, we got him isolated. We'll tell you on this right here. Ooh, oh, right in the cheek. A couple of expletives, which I won't repeat, but.
Wells is ready to go. Garcia.
Gosh darn, that hurt.
Coming back to the plate, there's Scott LaRock making his first start of 1995. Doing a fine job. Giving up just 3 hits to the Keys in the first 5 innings.
And one of those is a bunt single. Oh.
That one just misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jesse Garcia. Jesse bats .316 against right-handed pitchers. And just .179 against lefties. Outside again, 2-2. That's very unusual for a right-handed batter.
You'd think it'd be the other way around, wouldn't you?
Hitting considerably higher against right-handed pitching. Jesse trying to keep a 4-game hitting streak alive. Rounds it up the middle. The pitcher LaRock makes the play and throws to Dixon for the first out. So 8 in a row set down by Scott LaRock. And Trovan Valdez, who's 1 for 2 in the game, comes up to the plate. Valdez grounded to second in the first, as you see the replay. LaRock making A good defensive stab at the ball and the good throw to retire Jesse Garcia. Valdez singled in the third. Went to second on a throwing error by the pitcher and then was caught stealing. Trying to steal third base.
Another split finger in the dirt as Valdez chasing it. That's the thing about the fork balls or split fingers is it looks like a fastball to the hitter and then the bottom drops out. And you'll oftentimes see hitters swinging at balls in the dirt on that split finger. It looks like it's a split finger more than a fork ball from our vantage point.
Foul to the left side, so 0-2 to Trovan Valdez with David Lamb on deck.
Now let's zero in when we have the center field shot the next time we have it. Let's zero in on his grip when he raises his arms above his head. And if it's a split finger, you'll see a lot of white. You can see his hands spread. There it is right there. Did you see it? Split finger in the dirt. Valdez not biting on that one.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out, no base runners. We're playing in the bottom of the 6th inning. No score between the Keys and the Avalanche. Valdez fouls it off. Keys 3 hits, no errors. And the Avalanche 4 base hits, and they've committed 1 error, but no runs as of yet. Keys came into the game with the worst earned run average at 5.44 runs per game. Salem 7th in the league with a 4.89 ERA, but no runs yet tonight. Valdez takes. The count is now even at 2-2. Line drive to the left side and a base hit. So Trovan Valdez has his 2nd hit of the game, and he's a base runner with 1 out. And David Lamb coming up. Valdez had a bunt single in the 3rd and a line drive single to left here in the 6th inning. Lamb 1 for 2 in the game. Opposite field single for Valdez.
Put the ball on the nose of a slash hitter, and of course that's his style. Punch and Judy, bunt, hit the ball on the ground, and run like the wind.
David Lamb singled in the 1st and struck out in the 3rd. A switch hitter is Lamb. Of course, batting left-handed against Scott LaRock, the right-handed pitcher for Salem. And keep a close eye on Trovan Valdez.
Well, he threw over there a lot the last time Trovan was on first. Ended up throwing the ball away. That's the only error that the Rockies have, or excuse me, the Avalanche has.
On deck is Tommy Davis.
I think out of all the right-hand pitchers I've seen this year, I think LaRock, throws over to first as much as, well, he's right up there with Calvin Maduro. Calvin throws over a lot. Does a good job of keeping runners close. So far, as Jeff mentioned earlier, Snyder is 2 for 2 in throwing out base stealer tonight.
Pitch is outside. 1 ball and no strikes to David Lamb. Lamb struck out in the 3rd. That's when Valdez was cut down trying to steal 3rd base. Power hitting Tommy Davis on the on-deck circle. 2 keys erased in 1 pitch. Lamb was a 2nd-round selection in 1993. Throw back to first once again. Valdez back safely.
Well, the thing that makes LaRock so effective at holding runners close is he doesn't use the same move every time. He varies it. He'll throw over when he's looking in for the sign. He'll throw up just as he starts to get set. He'll throw up as he gets set, as he did right there. He'll throw over after he's come set. So he gives the runner all kinds of different looks, and that just keeps the runner guessing all the time.
Valdez with a pretty good lead at first. Dixon, the first baseman, holding with the runner.
Little cat and mouse going on right here. part of the game.
1-0 is the count to David Lamb, the 20-year-old shortstop. Line drive to left center field. Velasquez, the center fielder, back. It's in the gap. Extra bases for Lamb. Valdez is being waved around third base. He'll score the first run of the game. And the Keys lead 1-0 on the RBI double by David Lamb.
Well, LaRock was so worried about Trovan Valdez over first base, he forgot about David Lamb, and David Lamb gets a piece of the rock right here. Look at him go the other way with this ball, and it's slicing away from the center fielder, Velasquez, who does do a nice job of getting the ball back to the infielders in a hurry, but the speedy Trovan Valdez, it's too late to get him. There you see him getting the ball in very quickly to the infielders, but as I mentioned, Valdez is the fastest player on this team, and no getting him.
So David Lamb was 0 for 8 coming into the game, and his last 8 at-bats has 2 hits tonight, 2 for 3. He struck out once, but the 2 hits he's had have been very solid base hits. And Tommy Davis is the batter with 1 out. David Lamb is in scoring position at second. And Davis swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. Tommy walked in the first inning and flied out to center in the 4th. David Lamb with RBI number 14 has given the Keys a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And a ball, 1-1 to Davis. Tommy Davis batting .358 against right-handed pitchers and .347 against lefties. With runners in scoring position, Davis batting .405. Play at second base, and they nearly got David Lamb.
I thought they tagged him on the head right before he got back in, but they don't get the call from base umpire. We don't know who that is, but it's once again, it's awfully difficult with a 2-man crew. Let's take a look here. Let's see if he doesn't tag him on the helmet before he gets back to the base. A great pickoff throw.
The throw was there.
Yeah, I think he got him on the helmet before he touched the base.
But the umpire was right there too, and he says safe. 1-1 to Tommy Davis with 1 out. Swing and a miss. Davis behind in the count now. Lamb is at second base. He doubled in Trovan Valdez for the only run of the game.
Well, Tommy's had a lot of success with the Avalanche pitching staff so far, and at least in the 3 games down there, he batted .417, getting 5 base hits and 12 at bats. Let's hope he gets another one here and maybe drives another run in for the Keys.
Davis takes inside, 2-2. Tommy has had 2 long hitting streaks this year. A 9-game hitting streak and a 10-game hitting streak. The 10-game hitting streak ended on May 6th.
You saw on that replay once again, it looked like he got tagged on the helmet.
And Davis now has taken Scott LaRock to a full count.
That was a pretty good replay. I wonder if it's in slow motion. You really know, but that was a great shot, great isolated shot of the runner on second and the shortstop sneaking in what is known as the daylight pickoff play. And I'll explain that in a minute.
Davis grounds it foul.
The daylight,
to the Keys dugout.
Excuse me, Jeff. The daylight pickoff play is if the shortstop can get inside of the runner, and what I mean by that, as the pitcher looks out, and then he sees daylight between the shortstop and the runner, then he's going to turn and throw. If he doesn't see daylight, then he's not going to turn and throw, and that's why it's called the daylight play.
Grounded foul once again, so the count will remain at 3-2. Left-handed swinger Sean Hugo on deck for the Keys.
Now, I can't believe that LaRock is going to throw a fastball in this situation with first base open. And it isn't too often that hitters should look for an off-speed pitch. when it's 3-2, but this might be one of those situations where Tommy might want to guess a little bit and look for a curveball here.
Right back to the mound. Rock checks the runner and throws out Tommy Davis. So 2 outs now in the 6th. As LaRock challenged Tommy Davis on a 3-2 count in the first inning. Davis was walked on 4 pitches with David Lamb aboard and 1 out. And here in the 6th with the same situation, LaRock gets Davis to ground out. Sean Hugo, the left fielder, 0 for 2 in the game. He struck out and flied to left.
They've had success pitching him outside.
And a strike call to Hugo. Sean Hugo batting .222 with runners in scoring position. One ball and 1 strike. Hugo has had a base hit in every game he's played in except for 3 this year for the Frederick Keys. Played in 16 games and has had hits in 13 of those. Two balls and 1 strike. Harry Barrios awaits on deck. Should Hugo get aboard? Keys broke the scoreless tie here in this inning. Ruben Valdez singled and scored from first on a double by David Lamb. Outside, 3-1. No activity in the game yet in either bullpen. Pitch out. Ball 4, so Hugo's aboard. So with a 3-1 count, they walk Sean Hugo to face the right-handed batting Harry Barrios. Barrios 0 for 2 so far, struck out and popped up to the second baseman. 2 runners on for Frederick with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Harry Barrios sent down from Bowie to the Frederick Keys just today.
Yeah, Jeffrey Hammonds took his place on the Bowie roster when he sent down from the big ball club. And that gave, that for balls in for strike, and that gave Damon Buford a shot at the starting role with the Orioles, and his father is in the press box here tonight. Don Buford.
Don Buford, a former Orioles player. Barrios hits a high drive to center field. Center fielder Velasquez makes the catch for the 3rd out. The Keys get 2 base hits and they get their first run of the game. We've completed 6 innings at Grove Stadium and the Keys now lead Salem 1-0.
Are you getting frustrated by that dripping faucet? Then Burke it. Is your air conditioner not working as well as it should? Then Burke it. Locally owned and operated, Burke will professionally handle all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Burke Incorporated today.
HBO in May will keep you on the move. On the level. On the ropes. On the run. On the verge. On the right track. And on the ball. So get on the phone and call now for HBO on the double.
And there is Don Buford, former Major League player with the Orioles, and the father of Damon Buford, who is playing in the outfield for the O's these days, since Jeffrey Hammonds has been moved back to Bowie. Matt Marenghi still on the mound for the Frederick Keys as we head to the 7th inning. Marenghi has pitched into the 7th inning 3 times this year. 7 innings is the longest he's gone in any game in 1995.
Well,
Very solid effort for Marenghi this evening.
Don Buford's official title is Assistant Director of Player Development. So he's here looking over the farmhands. The curveball misses. His boss would be Sid Thrift, of course, who is the Director of Player Development, coming over to the Royal organization. Been dying to read Sid Thrift's book called The Game According to Sid. Have you seen it or read it? Kind of curious to know how it is.
There's Matt Marenghi. 6 innings of work, allowing just 4 base hits and no runs so far. Colin Dixon is the batter. He grounded to third in the 2nd and was hit by the pitch in the 4th, and a swing and a miss. Or maybe he got a piece of it. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Dixon. He'll be followed by Forey Wells and Edgar Velasquez. The Avalanche half of the 7th inning. Frederick with a run and 5 hits. Salem no runs on 4 base hits. A line drive foul into the Salem bullpen. Keys have put together another solid performance this evening, following Saturday's 4-2 victory over Prince William. Another foul ball keeps the count at 2-2.
Well, what's even more impressive about their performance here tonight, Jeff, over that other game, is the fact that Salem is such a fine hitting ball club. So added impetus there. Key starting pitchers have been pretty good this year.
Dixon lines it to left center, and that one's in the gap. Extra bases for Dixon as he heads to second, and the throw will be cut off by David Lamb. So a leadoff double for Colin Dixon. The 2nd time tonight that the leadoff batter has been aboard for Salem.
Take a look at this. Watch Sean Hugo. He's going to cut this ball off, but then he's going to flip it to center fielder Clayton Byrne, I do believe, right at the wall, because Clayton's got the better arm angle to throw back. Now watch. Right there. Little toss to Clayton, little relay. Very little relay. And the reason why I did that is because Clayton has the right-handed throwing arm, and he has the better angle throwing to third base. So heads-up play by Sean right there.
See that happen sometimes in the infield as well.
Exactly. That's exactly right. When the second baseman goes up the middle, he'll flip it to the short who's going towards the base. It's a lot easier for him to throw it.
Jim Foster will visit Matt Marenghi. An activity now in the Frederick Keys bullpen. Hut Smith is up and throwing. Hard throwing right-hander. There you see Hut throwing to Hector Castaneda. 1 ball and no strikes from Matt Marenghi to Forey Wells. Wells fouls it off. 1-1 is the count. In the game, Forey Wells has been aboard both times. Once on a walk, and in the 4th inning on a fielder's choice. Tie run is at second base. Colin Dixon doubled to begin the Salem half of the 7th inning.
Yeah, it's only the 2nd leadoff batter in this game for both teams to reach, and both of them belong to an Avalanche player. Keys have yet to get the leadoff man on in any innings.
Grounded to the right side. Chris Kurgan will flip to Marenghi covering. They get the out, but down to third base goes Colin Dixon. So Forey Wells does a nice job of advancing the runner.
Yeah, I really thought Marenghi would throw, Marenghi and Foster would get together here and throw a lot of fastballs away to try to avoid allowing Forey Wells to pull the ball and advance the runner. But I guess, you know, they opted to go for the out with curveballs. Of course, anything that's off speed, it makes it easier to pull.
Edgar Velasquez. 1 for 2 in the game. Flied out to center and singled.
Now the Keys are going to bring the infield up. Try to cut this run down with 1 out.
Fouled off. 0-1. Tie run just 90 feet away. Keys scored the only run of the game in the bottom of the 6th inning as David Lamb doubled in Trovan Valdez from first.
And there you see the defensive alignment of the Keys. All the infielders are up within a yard or so of the infield grass. Of course, as a hitter now, you want to try to get this ball in the air somewhere, preferably to the outfield.
And a soft fly ball down the right side and out of play. So Marenghi ahead in the count 0-2 to Edgar Velasquez, who's from Puerto Rico, selected in the 10th round of the June 1993 draft. Velasquez just 19 years of age. Won't be 20 until December. Line drive to left. Sean Hugo, the runner tagging from third. Dixon headed to the plate, and it's a tie game. So a sacrifice fly by Edgar Velasquez. Plates Dixon, and now we're locked up in a 1-1 game. Solid hit by Velasquez on an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, they'd had some success getting inside on Velasquez. And the previous at bat, they jammed him, but he got that little infield squibber, if you remember. And then, of course, he looked bad on one inside pitch. And this at bat, tried to change things a little bit. Velasquez responded.
Mark Wells now the batter. 0 for 2 in the game, has struck out. And grounded into a fielder's choice. And a swing and a miss makes it an 0-1 count. Mark Wells. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. No base runners on for Salem. 0-2 now. Swing and a miss. Marenghi gets the strikeout to end the 7th. But 1 run on a base hit as Colin Dixon doubled and scored on the sacrifice fly by Edgar Velasquez. At the end of 6 1/2, it's now Frederick 1 and Salem 1.
Boys and girls, if you're 14 or under, you can join the Frederick Keys Knothole Gang for only $6. As a Knothole Gang member, you'll receive an official Knothole Gang membership card, admission to all Monday and Wednesday games for 25 cents, a Knothole Gang t-shirt, a free baseball clinic with the Keys players and coaches, and a chance to win prizes every Knothole Gang night. For more information, call the Keys at 662-0013.
Where does Frederick County turn when planning the following purchases? 64% of Frederick County turn to the News Post when looking for an automobile. 67% for a house or a home. 71% for lots, acreage, and farmland. 76% for garage sales. And 84% for auctions and public sales. Numbers don't lie. Put your classified in the Frederick News Post, where the county turns to buy.
Frederick Keys had the lead briefly. They led 1-0 after 6. But in the top of the 7th, the Salem Avalanche scored a run to tie it at 1. So we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Scott LaRocque still on the mound for the Salem team. We look into the dugout. And now a fan shaking his keys during the 7th inning stretch.
Patriotic fan at that. Clayton Burns is going to lead this inning off, and this is the 3rd time this game that Clayton's got to lead an inning off.
It'll be Clayton Burns, Jim Foster, and Chris Kurgan. Clayton 0 for 2 in the game. Has grounded out and flied out. And he takes a ball 1. Inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Activity in the Salem bullpen.
Kurt Conley, southpaw. Up and chucking.
2-1 now to Byrne, who played for 3 Orioles affiliates last year. Played a couple of games for Rochester because of an injury. Just filling in up there for a couple of games, being sent up from Frederick. Moved back down to Frederick before being promoted to Bowie in July. Hits it right back to the mound. LaRock throws to Dixon. 1 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jim Foster, the batter. Jim is 1 for 2 in the game. He singled in the 2nd and grounded to short in the 5th. Foster, one of the hottest Keys hitters as of late. 16 hits in his last 39 at-bats. He had a 9-game hitting streak earlier in the year, from April 30th to May 10th. Foster has hit safely in 15 of the last 19 games. Outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike to Jim Foster. Chris Kurgan, left-handed swinging first baseman, is on deck. Scott LaRock started and has pitched the entire game so far for Salem. Fouled off, 1 ball and 2 strikes. There is activity in the Salem bullpen. Kurt Conley, a left-hander.
What fans won't do for foul ball. That's part of baseball, isn't it?
It sure is. Foster, it's a slow tapper. Shortstop Sexton's throw to first is in time. So 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Good play again by the shortstop